severally as an accountant or maybe as a student of accounting in the higher institution or even in the secondary school sometimes, an introduction to that, you hear about bad debt. Bad debt. Bad debt. Now, what is bad debt? We are going to treat it. What is bad debt? Okay? Now, bad debt occurs when a company determines that that money owed to it, okay, will never be collected. Bad debt is when a company determines or recognizes that money owed to it can never be recovered. Why? Due to, let's just go, why? It could be as a result of a customer becoming bankrupt, okay, when it declared bankrupt, or otherwise known as insolvent. When you are solvent, you can pay your debt, you can pay bills, you can pay your debt, so to say. You can pay bills and pay debt, but when you are insolvent, you cannot pay. So when it determines, of course, by figures that you cannot pay, that you are bankrupt, then a bad debt is determined or is said to have occurred in computing the company's statement of account. Now it is otherwise known as insolvent. Okay, otherwise known as insolvent. Okay. Now, or it could be due to dispute over an improper invoice or quality of goods, services rendered. For example, those of you who are clever, maybe accounting clerk, somebody with a good O level can be able to be just accounting clerk. You record it. Those are people sent on field to do purchases and so on. You can alter an invoice and have a disagreement with the computing figures by the accountant of a company. Such figures, if it is discovered that the invoices are being altered, figures are being changed, that could lead, and the trace are not, and such figures are not traceable, it could result to bad debt, or a product that is being purchased that are not good, not meet up the standard. Of course, what you are discussing about bad debt now, most of those are the standard accounting requirements. Yes. So if these things, there's a mandate that should be done like that. Now, if the result have that, you cannot those debts as a result of maybe product rendered, they are not good. They cannot meet up with the standard. What you agree with, what the vendor agree with the company, is different from what is delivered. That will lead to bad debt. Okay. Now that's another thing. Now it is only now when this happens. Now it is known as contra assets. When you are doing it in the balance sheet, it is known as contra assets of contract on the company's balance sheet, and that serves as a safeguard against overall losses. When it said enter as a contra asset, it serves as a guide or as a kind of a safeguard. It's as a safeguard against the overall, okay, against the overall or often, okay, yeah, against initial losses, potential losses, let's put it that way, against potential losses that may arise, okay, that serves as a safeguard, that bad debt figure, okay. Now, if now in accounting standard, what's required, that is the accounting standard basis. That's what is required. Now, how do you record this bad debt? That's what we'll talk about. The entry. Now, to record this in your bad debt in your books, you have to debit. Listen, write it down. I will not repeat it again. You have to debit your bad debt expenses account and credit it to your account receivable account. You see here? Now, then, to record the bad debt recovery transaction debit, you debit your account, receivable account, and credit it to your bad debt expenses account. Then, next, record the bad debt recovery transaction as an income. Okay, now debit your account and credit your account receivable account and adjust your financial statements. Thank you. This is Sally Emmanuel. I've just talked about bad debt that's been contributed. That in fact, it took me time to really understand bad debt. How do you recover them? When you have this problem, of course, if this thing happens, you have them in the profit and loss account, and it's debited. And how do you retrace this? Now you go to it will now boil down to the balance sheet where you have all these things details done. Thank you. This is Sally Emmanuel.